When there's the nude sprites, they have like the Ken nothing there sort of smooth. I'm sure you know what I mean. Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'm going to be doing a first impressions video of the BL game Blood Domination. But before I start, note that although I would not consider any of what I include in this video as spoilers, I'm aware that what you consider spoilers and what I consider spoilers may not quite align. So if you're even a little bit sensitive and you don't want to even look at, like, let's say promotional CGs, then I would swiftly move on. But anyway, let me start. So firstly, I would like to thank all of those who have helped me in many ways, whether it be monetarily or by watching my content or, liking and commenting and all of that. I truly appreciate all of this. Also, the question of the day is, what is your favorite BL game? I would love to have sort of recommendations. This is a genre that I'd like to start delving into a little bit more. So if you could comment all of your favorites and your recommendations, I would really, really appreciate it. But starting the first impressions, what is Blood Domination? So Blood Domination is set in a world of vampires. The main character is a vampire, the students in the school are vampires, and it's just vampire heaven, a bit like Diabolic Lovers in that sense. Now, the thing is, all of these vampires actually have like this second gender thing, which is either dominant or submissive. And so some vampires are very much like in the dominant kind of class, I suppose, where they've got the ability to dominate those who are in turn submissive. And it seems to be that they kind of get assigned this at birth, which is really interesting. And there are some who are actually able to switch, but that is a very rare thing. The whole thing is set in a school, and it all starts off where the students must find a temporary partner, because I can't remember why, and I don't know why or whether they do explain it or not, but they basically have to find partners and form this bond, because then like the submissive can get the benefits from being submissive and the dominant can dominate and get their benefits. And it seems to be like an agreement thing that has to be done. And in the school, they are sort of asked to form temporary bonds as a kind of way to experience what it's like to be like partners with someone. And some people end up where the partner then becomes like their forever partner, but like it depends on who you are, I suppose. And yes, it's a story about varying partners and how, I guess, the relationship blossoms as a result of being partners, which is interesting because being partners doesn't necessarily mean you're like romantic with each other. It just like kind of turns out that way, which I kind of see that. Now, system. So the length is, I'd say, relatively short. It's available on PC for a one-time purchase. You can play it on mobile, but like you had to it's a bit grindy, you need like gems and all of that. I personally would prefer playing it on PC because it's like one-time payment and you get all of the routes and all of the options, that sort of thing. The length was sort of like 1 hour for the common route and then 3 to 4 hours per route. Unfortunately, there is no skip to next function, but I didn't mind so much just doing the already read skip. It didn't bother me much. An interesting thing about this game is that you don't have like one main character and the multiple love interests. It's like number of different ships, so you've got like 5 different couples that you explore. Now, note that you won't get CGs unless you make all the correct choices, so make sure you use a walkthrough, because when I first played this game, when I went through the route, I didn't know this, and I was like just going through the options, and clearly I suck at BL games because I didn't get a single CG, and I was like, this is so weird, why does this game not have a CG? It's just that I sucked at it. So make sure to use a walkthrough if you want to actually see the CGs like in those events, because otherwise you'll be left confused like me. Note that there is no voice acting, which is a shame, but I mean, it didn't bother me, and the story was kind of fun. So kind of see it like a Voltage game, I guess. Kind of like a Snap. It's nice, casual fun sort of thing. Now, as I mentioned, there are 5 different relationship routes. One is Izayoi and Uzuki, which is the route that I played. It's basically like a delinquent and a newbie relationship. You have Takamine and Chihaya, which is kind of like, you've got Takamine, who I think gives off like almost yandere vibes. I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's the kind of vibe I got. Chihaya is this like super princessy. He's got such like ore-sama vibes, but he seems kind of girly at the same time. So I don't know, I felt like the relationship was kind of cute because Takamine is the submissive and he's a bit butler-like, like constantly taking care of Chihaya, and Chihaya, despite being dominant, is like, no, go away. And it's kind of cute. Uzuki and Izayoi I felt was more like on equal friendship type of thing, where they'd like bicker and things, but I don't know, I guess yeah, it was interesting to see. Now, Gingetsu and Kasumi is the headmaster of the school. So it was interesting that you would actually get to play him, and I can't remember, Gingetsu I think was the chairman of the school. So it's interesting that that partner became major responsible people of this vampire school. Narumi and Mizuho and Kazuha and Yugiri, we don't get to see who they are in the common route, so it's all going to be very much a surprise as to what they're like. Although based on looks, I kind of like the Kazuha Yugiri combination. I don't know, I like the red-haired guy, he looks cute. But yeah, so I think I kind of preferred this format because, you know, I feel like with a lot of, at least otome games that I have played, I know they're not like the same genre, but with a lot of otome games I play, sometimes, you know, you got the main character and some routes have better chemistry. Like, I feel like the main character works better with like some of the characters more than others, whereas if you've got, you know, actual predetermined relationships that you follow, it feels a little bit more like, yeah, okay, I see the chemistry and I appreciate, you know? So, speaking of the route that I played, you've got Izayoi and Uzuki. It was very much a classical kind of sub-dom relationship where you've got Izayoi, who is this like delinquent but super noble figure, which reminds me, note that in this game there seems to be like a class difference. So you've got like nobles and commoners. The nobles seem to more often than not end up becoming dominant by the sounds of it, or at least that's what the game made it out to seem like, and the commoners more submissive. But like, it's that in this case as well, where Izayoi is a really major noble character and he's dominant, and Uzuki is this newbie commoner who's just sort of like, he's submissive. But it's kind of funny because they don't really choose each other for a variety of reasons. They kind of end up together, but they sort of, what I find interesting is despite this dom-sub relationship, they bicker, they're on equal grounds, and I just find it funny because there's of course like a couple of misunderstandings that happen, like jealousy. You know, I normally don't like misunderstanding tropes and things, but for some reason with this one it just felt really cute. I don't know why, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. But Uzuki definitely is the submissive in that, you know, Izayoi is like really forward and, you know, makes all the moves, and while Uzuki is like kind of unsure, he's like kind of feeling through this whole thing. He had no idea about how this partner thing worked. He didn't realize that when you form a partner, you end up in like potentially a relationship. And, you know, there are scenes where he sees other partners like, you know, doing the deed, so to speak. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? Like, he doesn't understand it. And then Izayoi comes along and is like, look, okay, it happens. Like, completely casually. And that sort of like interaction was quite fun. It was almost like Izayoi was helping Uzuki experience the world and how it is, and I found it cute. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy the other route more, But this one was fun in itself, and I must say that although it isn't R18, it does feel kind of like R17, and that it gets very spicy. Like, don't get me wrong, you don't see everything, if you know what I mean. Like, there's no pixelated appendages, but it does get very spicy in that there's a lot of like nudity and stuff. So bear that in mind. So my very sort of first impressions based on this one route that I have played is that it does feel like a nice casual read. It sort of reminds me a little bit of like a Voltage game where you go in, you're not expecting necessarily a whole masterpiece, but reading it is very like fun and just sort of casual. You don't have to use your brain too much. It's just a nice romance to, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but I think the best way to put it is that it is like a Voltage otome game. I really apologize that I can only, you know, compare it to otome game VNs because sort of that's what I mainly play, but yeah, that's the best way for me to explain it. Know that this is my very first like proper BL game, so of course, yeah, it was quite a fun experience, especially since a BL game genre is something that I have been wanting to get into for a while. I just haven't been sort of motivated to play games on the PC. Now, vampire content is weirdly refreshing, and I think it's that, you know, for some reason you'd expect vampires to be like the best trope in otome games, but it seems to be, you know, I don't know what it is. It's like Diabolic Lovers took over and now there's no longer any vampire content. Obviously I don't know too many details regarding BL games because again, it isn't a genre that I've explored a ton of, but from my experience as an otome gamer, having like vampires was extremely refreshing, and I actually quite liked it. I was like, oh, this is cute. I don't know what it is. There's just something about the whole blood sucking thing. It feels very intimate, and I really don't understand what it is, but I just find it cute. That makes me sound crazy, but I swear I'm not the only one that feels this way. But no, seriously though, I don't know what it is, but like there's something cute about it. Now, the chemistry between the two were adorable because they did feel like equals more so than like a complete difference, and that was interesting because I had sort of imagined Izayoi to be like full-on dom and then for Uzuki to be like full-on sub, but you know, they were relatively equal and I appreciated that. I think they formed a great sort of partnership, and yeah, it was fun. Now, the English wasn't that bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought it would be like messy machine translation or something, because a lot of games nowadays seem to, especially like mobile to PC ports, I've noticed like you do get sort of English that feels a little bit off. But I think with this game they brushed up on it because the English didn't feel that weird. I wasn't like struggling to read through it. It was all fine. There weren't any typos. There was one, I think, maybe programming error in that it was like all the text except there was like one symbol that was clearly, you know, something you see in a program thing, but that was literally like one time, and so it really doesn't get in the way of the gameplay. It's very smutty in that there is a lot of fan service. But what made me laugh is, I guess because it's an R17 game, like it's not quite R18, I've got to, you know, laugh. When there's the nude sprites, they have like the Ken, nothing there, sort of smooth. I'm sure you know what I mean. Sprite. So when like the sprite appeared, I was like, whoa, oh, there's nothing there. So bear that in mind. If you find that weird and you just can't get over that, then maybe the game isn't for you. I personally found it hilarious. A lot of the CGs are, well, the more sort of intimate CGs felt very like topless and things like that, but the earlier ones do tend to be more sensual, but you know, with clothes on. So at least in this one route that I have played, so you know, that's the kind of level of smutty it is. If you're looking for something steamy, then this may be perfect for you. However, if you're looking for, you know, something that's a bit more intricate, in that you've got like voice actors, you've got like music that isn't looped, things like that, then obviously this may not be the exact thing you're going for, so bear that in mind. But I personally really enjoyed it. Now, so far, I would recommend this game to people who are looking for an easy read, like voltage games, that sort of thing. Maybe a game to read when you're kind of burnt out from visual novels, but you want to still like play something. If you don't mind PC games, because this is only available like in one payment method on PC. So yeah, if you're the type that really struggles with PC games and prefers like handheld games, then this may not be for you. If you're looking for like smut and like steamy and spiciness, as in like enjoying all the characters like together and being in a relationship, then this is perfect, because yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting, it's all happening. So, and of course, if you enjoy school settings and vampirism, I don't know what it is, I do enjoy school settings. I think it's because it's kind of like, I didn't have a great secondary school experience, especially because I was in a girls' school and I wasn't really into girls that much, so I never got to do like the whole ooh, crush romance thing. Not as much as I could have if I'd been to a mixed school, for example, however. So whenever games kind of tackle that relationship thing, then I do find it cute. Although saying that, I can understand if people find school settings and then like smut uncomfortable because of like the age thing. I completely understand that, so bear in mind if that is something that makes you really uncomfortable. Although it is vampires and like a kind of fantasy setting. But I understand that school is like kind of realistic, so it might make you feel a bit sort of uncomfortable. But if you're the type that's like, oh, this is fiction and they look like adults, so just forget about the age, then you'll be fine. Also, I recommend it to those who enjoy like multiple combinations than one main character. As I said, it was refreshing to have like experience different chemistries between a variety of characters. You know, one main character can sometimes feel like they work better with this love interest more than that, which I think for some may ruin it, but in this case, you know, they have kind of made it so that each couple has a different kind of dynamic, which keeps it fresh as well. And also, finally, those who are okay with there being no voice acting. I know there are many of you out there who are like, oh my god, if there's no voice acting, I can't play a game. Which, fair enough, we all kind of prioritize different things. But if you're the type like me where you're like, I'm not that bothered about whether there's voice acting or not, as long as it's like an interesting read, then this may be a game for you to consider as well. But anyway, that kind of concludes my review of, well, I say review, first impressions video of this game. If you have any questions at all, then of course ask them in the comments below. Remember to give me more recommendations. The only game I currently have, like BL game that I currently have, is I think room number 9. I've heard it's like really messy, so I'm like really excited about it. But, that's the only game that I have currently sort of bought and I'm excited to play. So if you have any recommendations, personally I enjoy like the really messy, dodgy ones more than the fluffy ones, but I am still curious to see what you enjoy and what you like, so I look forward to seeing what your recommendations are. But anyway, as is always the case, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I will see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!